Very good morning to one and all present here. So today for B.Sc. Nursing 4th year Nursing Management, the important topics we are going to discuss. So let me give you a pick so that you can guess the topic. Yes. Could you make out what does this image describe about it? Yes, you could make it out. There are a lot of human relations involved in this. People are working with one organization things. You're right. We are going to discuss on the subject management of nursing services and education in 4th year BSc nursing. And then that we are going to discuss on the first unit, Introductions to Management in Nursing. It is of 4 hours, and we are going to cover the all aspects of the 4 hours. So at the end of the session, we are going to have the students develop uh, the knowledge on define management, describe management, understand the concept, explicate the theories of management, enumerate the functions of management, enlighten the principles of management, explain the role of nurse manager. To introduce functioning and achieving the goal with and through the personnel, that human power working in an institutions, either it could be individually or in a group, is called as management. Okay, so there are skills which is essential for the management. That includes technical skills, the subject knowledge, and skill, personal skills, because we need to deal with the uh, mm, human relation and human manpower, and conceptual skills, quick decision making aspects. With all these skills, we will be able to accomplish the management goal. And if you see the components of management process, there are systemizing the work process, reinforcing or motivating the workers, framing the proper strategies of planning management, supervising to achieve the goal. These are all the components of the management process. Moving on to the concepts of management. Conventionally, it was like getting work done with the people. Okay. And somehow you have to get the work done. That was the traditional or conventional concepts of management. Whereas the modern concept, if you see, it is like a process of achieving its aim or goal by utilizing the available resources. So facilitating the good work environment and the work culture that would be assisting the individual or group to achieve the given task. Management is a sequence of activities which is driven by means of effective and efficient utilization of the available resources. What are they? Man, money, and material. Other than these, there are few concepts like functional concepts, because depends on the managerial level, because we have a top level, middle level, and then operational level managers. According to their functional levels, the management concepts vary. And as per the human relation concepts, it is like art and motivating environment that would be helping the effective management of the things. Other than that, again, the leadership and decision making way, that is like art and science of the leadership and decision making. Integration, so effective utilization of all three resources. We are now coordinating with each other, man, money, and material. These are all the other concepts of management. Moving on to the definition of management, if you make it out, the activities and the task undertaken by one or more person for the purpose of planning and controlling the activities of others in order to achieve an objective or complete an activity that could not be achieved by acting independently. Obviously, management involves a group of people working together in an organization to achieve the aim or the goal. So how effectively the manager is utilizing the available resources to achieve the goal is the management, and it is the art. So it is defined as implementing specific functional activities that include framing the strategies of planning, systemizing the work planned and implementing, supervising and directing the work performance to achieve the goals by utilizing the adequate manpower and other resources. According to Harold Goons, it is an art of getting things done through and with the people in formally organized group is called as management. There are other authors have defined the thing. So it is principally a task of planning, coordinating, motivating, and controlling the efforts towards a specific objective. So it involves combining of traditional factors of production in an optimum manner, paying due attention to the particular goals of the organization. According to Joseph Massey, it is defined as a process by which cooperative group directs the action towards the common goal. In an organization, a different kind of people are working, they all will come together to achieve the goal. And getting that work is the art of the manager, and that is the management. According to James Lundy, it is defined as implementing specific functional activities that include framing strategies of planning, systemizing the work planned, and implementing, supervising, and directing the work performance to achieve the goals by utilizing the adequate manpower and other resources. These are all the definition. Other than that, according to S. George, it consists of getting things done through others. As I have told, the human relations are involved. And according to George R. Terry, it is a process to plan, organize, direct, and control the performance to determine and accomplish the stated objectives by the use of human being and other resources. So, according to Guns Herold and Cyril O'Donnell, it is concerned with the internal environment in an enterprise where individuals working in groups and perform efficiently to attain the group of goal. According to Henry Foyle, it is a process of forecast and plan to organize, to command, to coordinate, and to control. So these are all the different definitions of the management. Moving on to nature or the characteristics, as I have told, the different department would be involved, group of people would be involved. So it is multidisciplinary in nature. Group activities involved, group effort is involved, and it is a goal-oriented task, and it is universal. Wherever the institutions or organizations are running, it is mandatory they have to go ahead with the management process. So it is universal, and it is holistic in nature. To achieve the goal, there are various elements are there. So when we are covering all such things, definitely it is holistic in nature. It is intangible. You cannot divide the things. And of course, since the human beings are involved, it is a social process, human relations oriented. It involves a creative and innovative. It is dynamic in nature. Of course, it is a profession because it also follow the rules and regulations and going with the current scenario, and there is a scope in the society. Management is a continuous and ongoing process. It involves a scientific process, of course. It is a research oriented. It focuses on the entire organizational process and allocate and utilize the resources effectively and efficiently. It is a distinguished activity and unique activity, obviously, because the management style may vary from organizations to organizations and according to the level. It provides the guidance and divorced from the ownership. It is more of a human involvement. So it is not like only one person would be involving. And of course, it involves the financial thing, so economic resource. It is an activating factor. Being a leader, you must motivate your employee. System of authority and interdisciplinary approach. The intercoordination is very important. Direction and control, science and art. It is an art and how we are going to move about it. Do we need management in the nursing? What is the importance of management? It is very essential because the group of people are involving together so that they could achieve the goal. Accomplishment of the organization goal, we need a management to provide innovative vision and the management, and increase the efficiency, because a group of people and we are involving with the research oriented activity. So it is helping to increase the efficiency, and it also helps to minimize the time and the cost which we are spending for achievement of the one activity. And it crystallized the nature of management because we have a different styles of management techniques. So it is helping for the accomplishment of the goal. Effective utilization of the resources, well planned management activity helpful for the effective utilization. Resources, whenever it comes, we have to think about man, money, and material. It improves the research and helps to attain the social goals. So that is why it is called as profession, because there is a scope for the society. Yes, moving on to the techniques of management. If you see, uh, there are few techniques which would be helping for improvising the management techniques. The first one is deduction. So in the deduction, we could identify what is the problem. So this could be done by using the input-output analysis. We have done input and then the output. If there is whatever we have planned and if it is not achieved, where is the problem? So we are trying to identify. So in the deduction, we are going to deduct what is the problem and where do we went wrong. So by using the input output analysis, we'll be able to identify what is where we went wrong. The another one technique is evaluation. So for example, we are implementing a nursing curriculum, nursing program. So we are trying to find out at the end of the things, how was the curriculum feedback we are getting it out, and we are trying to identify how the program went on well. And API, annual program indicators, performance indicators, and cost benefit analysis, performance appraisal of the employee. So these are all the techniques which is used to identify the like how effectively we have run our management evaluation. The next is improving performance by using the management by objectives, management by evaluation. For example, in an organizations, we are planning to reduce the abortion rate and whatever measures we have taken. And then at the end of the month, we have set the objectives that we have to reduce the abortion rate from 60 percentage to 40 percentage, and whether we were able to fulfill that or what. We have set the objectives, and at the end of the course of the program, we are trying to identify whether we have achieved that performance or not. So improving performance by using the management by objectives or management by evaluation. The next is optimizing performance. It could be done by the operational research. So optimizing performance, for example, we wanted to improvise the production. So what best we have done or facilitate the work environment, and that was having an impact on the production. So that is the optimizing performance. For example, we wanted to go ahead with the better results of the college student. So we have we have changed the study room, and then we have done the facility in terms of like library we have arranged in their study room, and then we have made it as a mandatory study timings, and then again it was under the supervision. So we were optimizing or facilitating the the environment so that the children would be doing a better. So optimizing the performance. So that the technique which we are using is operational research. The next is specification of your desired values of situations or the action. So here layout planning for the officers. So it includes like how we are focusing much on the infrastructure, and that is helping for the management. The control in terms of like inventory control, cost control. We are expecting this much of drugs has to be supplied in a hospital, and when we are seeing that the near expiry medicines, and then we are doing all our level best, how we are controlling the inventory. So that is also one of the techniques of management. The next is communication, of course. The report writing is one of the techniques. So that is how we are improvising our management. The finally demonstration, it is a programmed learning. So we are going or demonstrating as per the checklist and how it is improvising. So these are all some techniques of management. Moving on to the difference between administration and management in terms of the meaning of administration. So what is the administration? It is like a skeletal structure, like anatomy. So we are formulating the policies, the vision, mission, the objectives of the institutions, and the plans and the programs, whatever we does it. So that is um, the meaning of administration. Whereas in the management level, if you see, it is like whatever the administrations have planned, that has to be like implemented. It is work done through and with the other people is the management. And in terms of nature of function, if you see administration, it is a process of thinking function, what has to be done and when have to be done, and it is more of like a ownership. Now the higher level people would be doing the work. It is more involved with the planning and organizing the work. Whereas the same nature of function in management, if we see, whatever thinking function was formulated, that has to be implemented. It is the act of doing. So it is of implementing the plan and the policies, and it is involved more of who would be doing the work and how are they going to do it. And instead of ownership, and in the here it is the employee oriented things, and they must be motivated, they must be coordinated and controlled. So this is the nature of function in the management. And if you see the scope of, in terms of scope, administration have got majority of major decisions they would be taking. Whereas in the management, it is execution and the execute the decision. The level of authority, if you see the strategies and policy decision, all this higher level is there in the administration. Whereas in the management, it is of operational authority to implement the administrative decisions, whatever has been taken in the higher level. And if you see the functional level, the management is like a top level, and whereas in the I mean, the administration is the top level, whereas in the management, it is like a middle level and operational level. And in terms of nature of organization, administration, mostly public sector is involved, whereas in the management, it is the combination of public and the private sector. The directive activities in the administration, it is not directly involved, whereas in the management, it is directing at the operational level, because they have to direct the people, because they have to implement the work execution activity. So they have to involve the people. This is the right way you have to do it. They have to control the people. So the direction is at the operational level in terms of management. That is not much in there in the administrative level. The influence on decision, in case of administration, since it is a government sector, the external force or the factors which would be influencing on decision making, whereas in the management, it is more of like an internal factor, because it is the execution activities inside the organization. Whatever is laid down by the administrative people, they have to implement. So it is of internal factors. The skill which is necessary in the administration, you must possess the administrative skill, whereas in the management, you should have a subject knowledge, so it is of technical skill. So moving on to the levels of management, if you see, the levels of managements can be like a three level: top level, middle level, and the lower level. The top levels, which includes like a board of directors, chairman, managing director, all that higher level people. So they would be again involving in the policy making, and then lay down the rules and regulations, formulating all the objectives, vision, mission, everything. So that is of top level managers will do. Whereas the middle level level managers, in a hospital, if you see like a nursing superintendent, DNS, ANS, and floor managers, all are like a middle level managers. They must be like a liaison officer between the top level and the operational level managers. Okay, so they must plan in their unit how best we can in their department, what and all they have to do it, so that they would be planning. So that is the middle level manager. The lower level managers are otherwise called as operation level managers or frontline managers. They are like a ward in charge, or might be the nursing officers who are involved directly with the client care, who are directly involved with the execution of the work. Okay, let's move on to the functions of management. Of course, we are going to study according to the different the manager definitions, whatever people have given. So generally, if you see the functions of management, it is of like organizing the activity, and we are going to manage with the people, management of personnel, and then there are some methods and then procedures involved in the management which need to be followed. And it is of like materials and supply, because if we have to run through the organizations, we need to have the materials and then supply, and how are we going to have control over the material and supply? And without finance, nothing can be possible. So the finance activity, and more or less like administrative and accountability activity. So these are all the functions of management in general. Let's see about the functions or maybe the elements of management according to Gulick. So that involves mainly seven aspects. One is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. Planning. The planning involves selecting the objectives, policies, it is like a foresee the future plan. Okay, so here it involves like we need to plan the objectives, policies, strategies, and programs of service. Again, all these functions may vary at the different levels of managers. Organizing, once we have planned the things and it must be organized in a different way, it is a process of developing all the resources for accomplishing the organizational objectives. That does involve like how are we going to utilize the available resources like a man, money, and material in an effective manner. We are going to organize sequence of activities. So here, what are we going to do it? Deciding and outlining the activities to accomplish the goal. So here, identification of the activities, what we are going to do it. After that, we are going to categorize it, deciding the activities in a systematic approach or the pattern. So classification of the grouping of activities and delegating the actions in particular to designated personnel and works. First, we have identified the activity and we are going to group it. And then now who would be doing what? So that we are going to assign. Finally, we are going to see that whether they are doing it, implementing the activity properly or not. We are going to monitor them. Distributing the work according to their job specification and the qualification, coordinating the authority and responsibility. So this is how we are doing the organizing the function. Moving on to the staffing, which involves like a selection, recruitment, appraisal, and management of the personnel. So we are going to identify what is the necessity and how much manpower is essential. Okay, so once we are going to identify the need of the manpower, we are going to plan it out. How are we going to fulfill the need of that manpower? And once we have fulfilled, what are the training aspects we are going to do it, and how are we going to appraise that manpower in terms of like promotion, transfer, etc. So appropriate manner of selection, decision on their salary, increment policies, rules and regulations, providing the on-job training and development, and proper appraisal of the personal promotion and the transfer, all such things to be planned. So that is of staffing function. Once we have taken the people, we have to direct them, coordinate them, control them, and finally report and then see that budget has been done or not. It is called as post garb. So planning, organizing, staffing, D for directing. So this involves like guiding, motivating, and supervising the subordinates. It is the manner of getting a work done through the planning, organizing, and staffing. Here we are doing like mainly supervising the people, because that is how we would be identifying where the people are doing a mistake. So we are supervising them and we are motivating them and bringing out with a good leadership and then communicating them. So this is about the directing function. Moving on to the next, coordinating and controlling. The coordinating, maybe in terms of formal and informal way, we are for the better results, we are coordinating. And controlling, which includes to ascertain whether all planned activities are performed well. We have planned the activity, whether it is executed properly or not. So that can be checked by using the controlling method. So how are we going to do the controlling? Deciding on the principles and standards of work activities. What are we expecting from this group of people? We have planned it. That is called establishment. So we have planned it and then they have done it. Now we need to check it out, cross check whether they have done it or not. Evaluating the real performance of the peoples by in terms of like a measurement. And then estimating the similarity with the actual standards. We are comparing with whether we have planned these things, it has been accomplished or not. So we are checking it out. Finding the reasons of any difference in standards framed with respect to other firms. So we have established something and then people have implemented. Why there is a discrepancy? What is the problem? How best we can address that? So implementing the proper correct activities to make sure that the goals are accomplished or not. So we are trying all our level best to correct the mistake, or if they have done the wonderful things, we are going to appraise them so that they will sustain the good effort for the achievement of the goal. The next is reporting. Reporting involves recording and organizational report for the communications. Whomsoever is the higher people there, we have to report it so that it will give a smooth functioning of the institution. The final thing is post GARB. The B stands for budgeting. It is a financial management of the organization. So that involves the fiscal planning, accounting, and controlling of the financial resources. So this is how are the functions of the management. So it involves post guard planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating and controlling, reporting and budgeting. Moving on to the principles of management. So this is according to Henry Foyle. There are 14 principles. If you see, it is a division of labor. So we have to divide the work because, as I've told already, it is manpower is involved. So we have to divide the work according to their designation, according to their power. So it is quite difficult to run with one manpower. So we have a group of people involved. So we have to divide the work and then get it done. So division of labor. The next is authority and responsibility. When we are dividing the work, we have to give them the power also. So that power will bring the accountability. We have to give them a power with the responsibility. These are all your job specification. You need to do it. So with that, they would be working with accountability. And then unity of command. So only one person have to lead the group. So that is very essential. In a group of people, if they are getting an order from many people, it is quite difficult for them to coordinate the work. So only one person should be in a positions to give the direction or order to the group of subordinates. Unity of direction. So they all need to follow the only one order, and they have to no like do the activity according to it. So the person would be giving the order would be unity of command, and what the employees would be following is unity of direction. If many people are giving many directions, so the things will not work out. Then equity. There should be no partiality. It must be the admin management is like it should be an impartial one. It should be run irrespective of the caste, creed, color, and gender. So especially the manager should always know see that impartial administration of the things. The next is order. So this should be like the person should get the proper instruction in an organizational pattern must be followed. No, like the sequence of the people whom we have to follow it. No, the order should be followed. Organizational structure has to be followed. And then discipline. It is very essential because any institutions to have a proper administrative functions, we need a discipline. So rules and regulations to be followed, and this must be informed priorly on the joining of the duties to the employee. And then initiative. So the management should involve the like initiative. So innovative things they have to bring, creative things they have to bring it out. So initiative in terms of the betterment for the institution. And the fair remuneration. It is very, very essential because people are running for the salary. So they have to get the good salary and the perks. So there must be the fair remunerations to the employee. Stability of the tenure. So we should ensure that the people have to work in an institution for a long run. So if at all there is something wrong, then we need to identify where do we need to correct it. So stability of tenure is very essential. The next is scholar chain. Scholar chain means we have to follow the proper the communications in an institution should be either ascending or descending, proper formal channel. There should not be any grapevine communication, so that may leads to like internal conflicts. And the gangplank is like sometimes we may have to break the channel of communication in an emergency case, and there must be a provision for this thing also, so that the in an emergency situation we have to take a abrupt decision, so this would be helping it out. The next is subordinating the individual interest to the general interest. So when we are working under one organization, we have to always compromise the individual interest to the general interest. What is the institutional goal? And I have to keep away my personal things, and then I have to focus much on the organizational interest. So subordinate the individual interest to the general interest. And the final is e-spirit decops, which includes the team spirit. People have to work together. E-spirit decops. So we have to, as a manager, we have to bring the team spirit in an institution. The last principle is centralization and decentralization. Centralization means having the complete power and authority at the center level, only at the top level. And decentralization means you're dividing the job division of labor along with the authority and power. You are distributing the power also to the lower level. So this is of like both decentralization and centralization is essential for the effective management. The theories of management. So there are a lot of theories. They're like a scientific theory, classical theory, a bureaucratic theory, humanistic or neoclassical theory, behavior theory, motivational theory, and leadership theory and system theory. We are going with the one by one. The first one is scientific management theory. It is given by Taylor. Father of scientific management theory is Taylor. Here he speaks about application of scientific method for managerial practice. It should not be like a rule of thumb. It is at any cost you have to get the work. No, we have to do a research, scientific way of getting the work done through the people. Need to identify this is the set standard and these are all the group of people involved. Why it is not achieved, where we went wrong. We are doing a operational research, trying to find out the problem and trying to resolve that action plan we are making and implementing for the better results. So that is about application of scientific method for the managerial practice. Physical nature of work environment and the physiological aspects of workman. If the work environment is good and the work culture is good, definitely employees would be sticking on to our institutions and then they will do a good thing. Cooperation with workers, a maximum output. If at all we are having a good cooperation with the workers, they would be giving a good output. So workers are like economic men. So we have to see that financial aspects of the men also. Organizational behavior depends on specialization, predictability, technical competence, and rationality. So it depends on the, according to the job specification and what best they can do it, predictability and technical competency and rationality. So this is about organizational behavior. Um, the techniques which is used for facilitating the management, so like functional foremanship, motion study, and time study. As I mentioned, it is a scientific method. Who is the father of scientific management theory? Taylor. Okay, so the functional foremanship, to enhance the scientific method, they have come out with the ideas like functional foremanship. It is like a supervision by the qualified person. There are essentiality of the qualified person so that they can do a better thing. And the next is motion study, by like a standardization of the work method, the way of working, like bringing up the machinery to reduce the man workload, and then no like the facilitating a good environment, bringing out with a good culture, work culture, organizational behavior can be improvised by using all these things. Time study, they determine the standard time for completion of the work. Don't pressurize them, and then see that the very friendly environment, so that is how they would be doing a better work. So determine standard time for completion of the work. So these are all about scientific management theory. So the techniques used for facilitating a good management is functional foremanship, motion study, and time study. Moving on to the classical theory. The classical theory is otherwise known as traditional theory or as conventional theory, the mechanistic theory. And it is a formal organization theory. So we stick on to the rules and regulations. That's all. If you have to do means you have to do. No other go. Like organizational behavior is the product of set of principles and regulations which is made by the management. So organization as a closed system. Here we are not giving any facility or something like that. This is the rules and regulations, like a bureaucratic leader they have to be. Insist on physiological and mechanical aspects of organization. So here, day by day, people would be like mechanized. So they'll just come, do the work and then go. They won't have the much attachment towards the institution. Authoritarian style of supervisions. You have to do means you have to do. Whatever I say, you have to do it. It is something like that. So it is very authoritative. So here what happened, it is like a static or rigid hierarchical structure. We have to go through that only, static and rigid hierarchical structure. People are homogeneous and human motivation by economical factor. They also trust on this human motivations can be possible by economical factor. View the human with the negative aspect. So here they do think that human beings in a negative aspect also. This is given by Henry Foyle and Lindell, Urwick, Luther Gulick, and Mooney and Rayleigh. We are going to see one by one. Henry Foyle. So the elements of management, according to Henry Foyle, are PO triple C. P stands for planning. Planning we have seen already. 4C and the plan the future. Organizing, build up the dual structure like a material and then human being. And commanding is like maintaining the activity among the personnel that is commanding. Coordinating means we are bringing together, binding with each other, or integration, that is coordinating. Bind together, unite and harmonize the activities and effort. The last one is controlling, which is established to rule and expressed to command. We have planned something and what has been done by the people. Established a rule and expressed command. So this is about elements, PO triple C. The 14 principles already we have discussed, which was given by the Henry Foyle, that are division of work, authority, responsibility, and accountability, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordinate the individual interest to the general interest, fair remuneration, centralization, decentralization, scholar chain, order, equity, stability of tenure of personnel, initiative, e-spirit corps. Uh, Moving on to the Lindell Arvik, he was speaking about 29 elements and 8 principles of management. What are the 29 elements? 4 A's, that is application, appropriateness, assignment of function, and authority. So the 5 C's, like a centralization, command, control, coordination, and coordinative principles. 3 Ds, which involves like a delegation, determination, and discipline. It is all we have discussed already, so I'm not describing again and again. And 1 E, that is equity. And there are 2F, like a forecasting and functional definition. And 1G, that is general interest. And 3I, which includes initiative, interpretative, and investigative. And 1L, which includes leadership. There are 2O, that is order and organization. 1P, which involves planning. 1R is reward, and 5 years are scholar process, selection, spirit, stability, and staffing. So these are all the 29 elements, and then 8 principles of organization, which includes principles of objective. We need to have a objective. Principles of correspondence should have a good communications both with the superior and then the subordinate and with the colleagues. And principle of responsibility, I must be like responsible for the activity whatever I does it. Principle of span of control, principle of specialization, principle of coordination, principle of definition, and scholar principles. All these things are principles of according to Henry Foyle, and not Henry Foyle, according to Linda Lerwick. I'm sorry. And moving on to Luther Gulick, and he was talking about post guard 7 elements we have discussed already: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, controlling, reporting, and budgeting. Other than that, 10 principles. Again, it is of division of work, based of departmental basis of a departmental organization. So we need to strengthen the different aspects or different department in an institution, and how best we can strengthen that. Coordinations through hierarchy, deliberate coordination by the ideas that involves innovation creation, coordinations through the committees. We need to coordinate with the other people, decentralization, unity of command, staff and line. It is nothing but the a scholar chain, whatever we have discussed, delegation, span of control. So all these things are the 10 principles of Luther Gulick. The last one is like Mooney and Rayleigh. So they were speaking about 4 principles, that is coordinations. You need to have a good coordination. We are discussing about theories of management. So according to Mooney and Rayleigh, there are 4 principles. One is coordination, scholar process, functional differentiation, line, and staff. So with this, we have done with the different theories of management. In the next video, we are going to discuss about rest of the theories of management with role of nurse manager. Thank you.